Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the New England Aquarium. My name is Belinda. I'm one of the trainers here, and I am going to follow up with a Facebook Live we did last month about Louise and Amelia, and what that focus on. The focus was about their sort of issues with their eyes. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that with Amelia. Now, before we go ahead and get started, I introduce you to her. In this exhibit, there's 5 Atlantic harbor seals. Amelia's one of them. She's 35 years old, and she was born here. Now, Amelia, when you see her up close, she looks a little bit different from the others. She's actually missing one eye. It was removed from our vet staff about 2 years ago. She had chronic eye issues most of her life, and even though we treated it several different ways with different types of medication, none of it was really effective, only partially effective, and Amelia always seemed to be bothered by it. So ultimately the decision was made to remove her eye. And what's interesting is after we did that, Amelia has done fantastic. And so I want to talk a little bit about what seals use. Just like people and even Louise the dog, dogs use their nose to smell the world around them. They don't always necessarily use their eyes, just like us. We don't use our eyes all the time. We use our taste and our smell and our hearing. And seals have these really thick whiskers on the front of their faces, and they're called vibrissae because they're used to pick up vibrations underwater. Now, seals can dive down to over 1,000 feet, and you can just imagine that the water is really dark and murky, and they can't see much anyway. So they're sort of built to be able to navigate the world by feeling the world around them. Those whiskers will pick up underwater vibrations and let them know what's happening around them. So with that being said, I'm gonna invite the trainers to come on out here, and we're gonna get started with Amelia's training session. So you'll see all of my co-trainers making their way out here. It is breakfast time for the seals. Yeah, there we go. And I'm going to move over here, and we'll talk a little bit more about Amelia. Now, as I mentioned, Amelia was born here. She is 35 years old, and she is going to be learning with her trainer, Tara, this morning. Tara's worked with Amelia for a really long time, and they know each other. They have a trusting relationship. So we always try to build that bond with our animals here. Now, we feed and train them 3 times a day, and this is breakfast time for Amelia. So we'll see if she feels like having breakfast. I think she's coming over. Now, Amelia, there she is.
Hey. Yes.
Big wave high. There she is. Now, you can see Amelia's left eye is missing. So you take a look at her face there, you can see it's just sort of like a space there. So our vets removed that eye a few years ago to increase the quality of Amelia's life. She did have 2 eyes before, but that other one was very bothersome. It had a lot of medical issues that we couldn't just treat with eye drops, although we tried. And then it caused her some discomfort. So we found that removing that eye has reduced all that discomfort. She doesn't need eye drops anymore. It's actually increased the quality of life, and we think Amelia is much more comfortable now. Now that kind of moves on to our training and what we do here. So how would we, go about giving animals eye drops and things like that? Well, a huge part of our training program is to ask the seals to participate in their own health care. So you can see Tara is practicing as if she was holding an eye drop bottle over Amelia's head. So for a long time, Amelia did need eye drops to help take care of that eye. So we've trained her to rest her chin on her hand and just let her know that that's a comfortable spot to be in, and just slowly over time taught her to keep her head still while she received eye drops. Now, the other thing I want to point out are her whiskers. Take a look at the front of her face there. They kind of look like cat whiskers, but they're much more thick. Like if you were to feel them, they kind of feel like
You can come in closer
guitar strings. So we'll see how close Amelia's comfortable letting you guys see. So they're very, very thick. They're extremely sensitive. And it's been shown that harbor seals can feel vibrations underwater up to 100 feet away. So that's really important, right? Because if you feel a small underwater wave or underwater vibration, that could be coming from a fish. So you might want to swim closer to it if you're a seal. Underwater wave or vibration, that could be from a predator such as a shark. So you would want to swim away from that wave. So really, harbor seals are built to feel the world around them. So even though Amelia only has one eye, it works perfectly well. She learns just as quickly as all of the other animals. It really doesn't seem to affect her that much. And, talking about Louise the dog too, I'm sure that Louise picks up a lot of information about the world by smelling the world around her. Now, in addition to training all the husbandry or medical behaviors, cooperative behaviors such as vet checks, checking out her nails, her body, and making sure that everything's okay, will also train other things, really anything we can think of. So anything we can imagine that the seals are physically capable of doing, we'll go ahead and try to train because they're incredibly intelligent. So after you train, say, eye drops, and physicals and things like that, what are you going to do? Because you want to keep training, they want to keep learning. You're constantly learning new things. So we start getting creative with different behaviors to teach them, to keep them mentally and physically stimulated and always learning new things. So you can teach an old dog new tricks. You can teach an old seal new tricks as well.
Good.
So you can see lots of additional behaviors that Amelia has learned over time. And a good thing to point out is Amelia's mother, Smoke, lived here as well. Smoke lived to be in her 40s. Amelia is currently 35. She'll be 36 in May. And her mother had cataracts in her eyes, in both eyes. So her mother had very poor vision. And Smoke, even though she was in her 40s, was still learning new behaviors and was just as sharp as all the other animals here.
Good.
So now Amelia's offering different behaviors. Tara's saying, come up with whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. So she's crossing her hands in front of her chest. Amelia sees that. And Amelia's trying different things, such as jiggling her head around.
Good.
A big, yes motion, we call it. Amelia's offering different movements. She can do whatever she wants. The only rule is try to do something different. And that's kind of a cool training technique. It's sort of conceptual. It's like a puzzle for them. Like, just don't repeat yourself kind of thing.
Good.
We'll try some more.
Good.
Oh, nice.
Feels different.
Yeah. So Smoke, her mother, lived into her 40s. She was the second oldest harbor seal known. But wild harbor seals live to be about 25.
Good.
So they tend to live a lot longer in human care because as they do get older, if they have issues, we can help tend to that. So they tend to live a bit longer.
Water.
And if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll do my best to answer them.
Just going to take a swim.
Yeah, so Amelia, take a little swim. I can chat about the exhibit a little bit. Our exhibit is set up sort of like a coastline at New England. And these animals can be found from Cape Cod northwards into Canada.
Amelia, let's go.
Now, if Amelia did come across something, or a harbor seal came across something such as a shark, they would jump high out of the water and porpoise like a dolphin. And this allows them to get a quick, fresh breath of air, change direction, and outmaneuver those fast-moving predators, right? Another thing a seal could do if they felt like that big underwater wave with their whiskers to escape a predator is to hop up on land, because the shark's not going to find them there, right? Now, those whiskers have also had a lot of studies done on can seals determine the size or shape of something that enters the water. And it's really interesting because it's been shown that a seal can not only tell the different sizes, but shapes. So they can feel with their whiskers whether something circular enters the water versus something with a square shape that goes into the water up to 100 feet away, which is really amazing. So they really do feel the world around them.
So,
How long have you been working with Amelia?
I have been working with Amelia for about 4 years now. So I worked with a different seal for my first year here, and then I got switched over to Amelia, and I work with her about 4 days a week, and then she has a different trainer on my days off. Yeah.
And what are you feeding her?
So she eats a variety of fish. So this is capelin that she eats, and she likes this fish whole. And then she also gets squid and herring, which you can see she's actually already eaten all of that. So we just have a few capelin left for her for this session. So Amelia is actually one of our largest in this exhibit, even though she's a female. And right now she's probably about 210 pounds. You can see this blubber that she has is actually what keeps her warm in the winter. So being heavy is actually a good thing for these guys. Give her her last couple of fish here and let her know she did a great job. And then I'll give her this hand signal, all gone. And that just lets her know that I don't have any more fish for her and our training session's over. She's welcome to hang out with us more if she wants to and interact, but that just lets her know that there's no more fish coming.
Now, in addition to the training sessions too, you might see some toys that were utilized this morning. We do enrichment sessions with the seals throughout the day. We have a wonderful volunteer program, and they're a huge help coming up with new ideas and new different types of enrichment. It could be smell, it could be sight-related, sound-related, or even just puzzle boxes, such as a boomer ball that we might hide pieces of fish in, or fill a bucket with water, throw some fish in that, and freeze it. And it's a bit like a puzzle for them to try to get this fish out of the ice or out of the toy. And we'll offer those types of games for them throughout the day as well. Yeah. Oh, wonderful. That's all the questions. Thank you guys so much for coming and joining us today. And it was just wonderful to share Amelia's story with everyone. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.